Jeg digger Dream Theater fordi de er så utrolig teknisk gode, og fordi de lager sinnssykt bra sanger som er både melodiske og harde samtidig, og hvordan de har så god variasjon i sangene og i platen sin.
Fordi det er bra og spennende musikk, og jeg liker sånn musikk.
Okay, we came all the way from Guatemala, Central America, just to see Dream Theater. We're really glad to be here in Norway.
Yes, it's like a dream come true since about more than 10 years we've dreamed of seeing this band, and it's like a dream coming all this way to Norway, seeing Dream Theater. It's gonna be
Kortner. Ja. Og så jo Petrikje.
Ja.
Jeg beskriver det egentlig. Vi har reist 82 mil en vei nå for å være med. Fra Bindal i Nordland.
Klar for konsert?
Det her var verdens beste band. Det er ferdigheten også, ferdigheten da.
Hva er ønskelåta i kveld?
Gucci Jam eller Home eller... Home. Change of Seasons.
God fornøyelse!
Alt. Musikken, folkene, teknikken, ja.
Hva er ønskelåta i kveld?
Home. De beste musikerne og den beste musikken. På alle måter.
John Petrucci's room. John Petrucci has a small little amplifier set up. He comes in here before the show and rehearses his parts, and he has his wardrobe that he's able to sort through what he wants to wear for the show. Because every place we travel, we want it to be as if it was home, as if it was a very comforting area. This is the main dressing room. We always set up a keyboard for Jordan, because before the show, if he doesn't warm up his fingers, he can't play all those crazy notes. So this is basically the band's comfort area.
How does it feel about 20 years together and 8 studio albums and thousands of concerts? It feels great. It feels, in some ways, very surreal. Like, I can't believe we're still together. I can't believe that we're playing songs that we wrote actually when we first started. You know, going back to the days at Berkeley when John and I went there and met Mike, and you know, we're playing songs that we wrote at that stage, and then of course all over the past 20 years. So it's incredible, and I think we're all very blessed, and we're very fortunate to have such a long career, not only where we started in America, but all over the world. It's been wonderful. What's my favorite moment in Dream Theater history? Well, I definitely have quite a few favorite moments, but one of the things that is pretty memorable as far as being an exciting time was when we released Images and Words, probably because after the first record we really weren't sure where our home was. We didn't really have a record label. We were looking for a singer. There was a period where it was just a lot of hard work and, you know, a little trepidation as far as our future. And when that album came out and it started to become very successful, that was a very exciting and memorable time. And having the concerts being sold out, hearing the songs on the radio, you know, I think that's when we really realized, okay, this is something that's really happening. If I wasn't a professional musician, what would I do then? I don't know really how to do too much of anything else. No. I don't know, you know, when I was growing up, I had, all my interests were always in the arts, you know, whether it be music, or I used to love to draw and paint, and I love writing, creative writing, and of course I turned that into lyric writing, so probably something in that field, I would assume. What is the concept of Octavarium? Well, first of all, we wanted this album to be a collection of many different styles and sides of Dream Theater, which is more of how we're used to writing. You know, we usually don't just do one type of style and have one direction. So we wanted to make sure that there were progressive elements, which is what we love to do, what we're known for, as well as some of the influence from the last couple of albums, like the heavier, more riffy things. You know, we wanted to mix it up, and I think in general the feeling was that we wanted the songs to be very, very strong. So when we were writing, we actually kind of stripped down and we sat there with piano, guitar, and vocal, and just made sure that the melodies and the structure was very, you know, that it was interesting to us, that it moved us, it sounded original, and it was creative enough where we all liked it. So that was a really important focus on this album. Is that everything is centered around 8. It's called Octavarium. It's our 8th studio album. There are 8 songs. There are 8 keys that create an octave. So those are all things that we didn't really go out there and advertise, but people picked that up pretty quickly. Was a conscious decision to make it more pop-oriented. There were certain songs that were consciously constructed, you know, to be, how can I say it? They're modeled off of bands that have influenced us in more of a pop and commercial way. You know, if you want to take more modern influences, it would be like Coldplay, for example. U2 has been around for a long time, obviously. We're all huge fans of U2. We have been for a long time. So that would be another sort of pop influence. You know, like I said before, we wanted this album to be eclectic, to be a collection of different styles. And from the very beginning, you know, from our first record, second record, third, you'll hear that. You'll always hear a variety. And that pop influence, I think whether or not some of our hardcore fans want to admit it or not, has been a part of our style. It's embedded in what Dream Theater is. I think that the funny thing about our band is that people identify with us in different ways. You know, there are some people that really like progressive music, and they're really into, you know, some bands that I never even heard of. Crazy time signatures and long songs and all that stuff. And then there are some people that really like us for the heavy side, that just think Train of Thought is the best thing, and they love the riffiness and Metallica and all that. And then there's some people that like the more ballad and the slow things. So, you know, it's hard. Like whenever I get asked that question, it's almost like from an angle like, did you guys do something different in order to please other people? And the answer really is, I'm sorry, but no. You know, we write the kind of music we write because it's what we want to do. It's fun, it interests us, it keeps us creative and alive, and we always try to mix it up and keep it different. So that's a big part of who we are. The question is that some people say this album there aren't enough guitar solos. You know, once again, going back, the funny thing is, when Train of Thought came out, there were so many people that were like, you know, critically saying, oh, there's too much shredding going on, and it's too riffy and too dark, and then the next album comes out, and then people say it's not enough. And prior to that, people were saying, where's all the shredding? So once again, you know, it's not something where, you know, we listen to all this feedback, take it in, and say, okay, on the next album I'm just going to do this because people said it wasn't there. For us, we really do what suits the album, what suits the music, whatever sort of stage we're in our lives, what we're trying to accomplish. That's what matters, you know. Are my lyrics getting more personal? They seem they're getting more personal as opposed to the earlier lyrics, and that is definitely true. When I first started writing lyrics for the band, I was very young. I was into writing about fiction and making up stories and kind of creating these different types of worlds and scenarios. And I think when you're younger, it's a little bit more difficult to sort of tap into the personal side. And as I've gained experience, I find that it's more rewarding, and I'm more in touch with writing about my own feelings, my own reflections, my own philosophies on things that either I've experienced or other people have experienced and I've, you know, sort of commented on. To me now, that's a lot more interesting than writing about mythology or something like that. You know, that's just something that's very, you know, that usually you find you do when you're very young and kind of immature. And now, you know, as you gain experience and wisdom, you can become a bit more deep. And they've taken a political turn, which is true. And the ironic thing, once again, when I was younger, I mentioned U2 earlier. You know, we've been into them for a long time. One of the things I used to, I didn't like, that turned me off, is I didn't like when they were getting all political and talking. You know, that used to drive me crazy. And the ironic thing is that now I kind of get it. I see what they mean, and I see how there are times when music is a place to sort of bring up those topics and to be a forum for that type of thing. I mean, some of the things that I've talked about having to do with religion and moral issues and stuff, they're a bit deep for like a normal rock and roll song, but you know, I guess we're not the normal rock and roll band, so I think it kind of fits. As far as what's new in our presentation, certainly something that we discussed as far as how we wanted to present this tour. One of them is that the video portion has become an integral part of the show. So that's something that we started to do a few years ago, and we're going to continue to do that. So the different images and movies and little cameras showing our hands and stuff, we're going to continue to do that. It's going to be a big part of it. As far as other presentation type things, I mean, everybody in the band is always kind of adding new elements. Jordan has a whole kind of world over there he created with his big synthesizer and lap steel and different stands and things. And as far as our musical presentation, we are celebrating the fact that we've been together for 20 years, so you're going to hear many songs that span our complete career, from like the very first one to the very last one. Tour, how was it playing at Gigantour? It was cool. It was definitely very different than what we're used to. When we tour, normally we do an evening with Lately, where there are no other bands. There's nothing else to really deal with except for our own setup and our own comfort. And on Gigantour there were 9 bands. There was never a sound check, and we played for about an hour and a half. And you know, there's a lot of that that's kind of difficult to deal with, you know, but you just do deal with it, and it's fun. It's sometimes a little scary. And on the other side, it was cool because of course it was a tour during the summer. It's always fun to tour outdoor amphitheaters and venues during summer. I think it was cool to be in more of a metal environment, which, like I said before, is something that a lot of our fans identify with. You know, we've always had the metal aspect to our sound, and I think to kind of be in that environment with all those types of bands, I think sort of gave us the credibility in that world. So I thought it was good.
Hello, John Petrucci here in beautiful Paris, France at the Zenith. We're about to play tonight and I'm really looking forward to it. It's always an incredible show here with incredible fans. And before we do that, I just want to show you a brief tour of some of my equipment, so follow me. First thing I want to show you is something I'm really proud of for the Octavarium World Tour. And this is a mural that Mesa Boogie had painted on the grills that go in the cabinets. And of course the mural is from the artwork from the album Octavarium. And as you can see, each cabinet has a different part of the picture, and when you put them together, it makes the full mural. So that is my latest, most proud addition. And if you're wondering, the bottom 4x12 cabinets are for the Road King head that I use, and that is all of my dirty, sort of heavy, crunchy sounds and lead sounds. And the top cabinets, the 2x12s, are for the clean sounds. I use a Lone Star for that. I'll show you in a second. Come over here to my pedal board world. Over here is where I control all the different functions of the amplifier and the effects. And I have the songs programmed in here. So for example, if I have to play Never Enough, there it is. And what we do is every night we program the set. Here's the set list on the floor there. You can look over here. I'll go down here. These are all the songs. This thing holds 99 songs. This should be the set from tonight, I believe. Maybe not. I mean, we have to go to a different mode. Let's see. We go to set 1. So you see Root of All Evil, Never Enough, another one, etc., etc. This is my volume pedal, controls the volume. I have a tuner there, wah-wah pedal. And these big monstrosities are my fancy stage prop foot rests. And I get a lot of questions about those. It's really just so when I play, I can put my foot up here, rest the guitar on there, and it feels really comfortable. Looks mean. And I used to just use monitors, but we don't use regular monitors anymore. We use in-ear monitors. So as you can see, there's no speakers on stage, so I had to have something built. That's my main guitar right there. Jay, we're doing a tour. We're doing a tour of the world. It's a Framptone AD box that when Jay gives me another guitar. Okay. It's 2 different sends. One for one guitar, you mute it, and the other guitar. This is how we're able to go quickly between from song to song, different guitar. Let's see. This is Jay Baskin, my guitar tech. How you doing? Master at his trade. Makes every night go as smooth as it possibly can. These are the ears I was talking about. They're fitted ear molds with little speakers in them. And that's how I hear what the band is doing and what I'm doing. Nobody could live without an iPod. Yeah. Okay, over here. This is basically all the equipment. This is Jay's workstation, and of course the rack of gear. This is the head I was talking about. It's a Mesa Boogie Road King. This is the main head that I use for my rhythm and lead sounds. It's in stereo, so there's 2 of them, and there's a 3rd one for backup. You see some of the effects that I'm using, mostly TC Electronics stuff. And come over here, there's actually an entire 2nd rig with Lone Stars. It's also a Mesa Boogie head, and that's for the clean sound. So this rig has its own heads in stereo, left and right on the bottom there. Its own effects, its own power, its own compressors. It's completely separate for a clean sound. And then of course, we have the guitars. These are some of the guitars here. These are the baritone guitars, otherwise known as Music Man Silhouette basses. They're actually bass guitars, but I tune them differently, and I use them for songs like These Walls and Panic Attack to tune very low down to A or B flat. And we have a nice cream colored one. Some of these wood bursts, sunbursts are really pretty. We had it modified. Normally there's a 5-way switch, but I like these 3-way switches. No whammy bar. Can't do any tricks. Over here are all the rest of the guitars, and basically they're all my Music Man signature models, and we have them lined up with one guitar for each tuning and then a backup for a spare. So the main guitar is spare, a 7-string spare, guitar tuned to C for songs like In the Name of God and As I Am, and a spare guitar tuned to D for songs like Never Enough and Endless Sacrifice, and a spare and an E flat for songs like what do I play with the E flat guitar? It's not coming to mind. Jay, what do I play the E flat guitar on?
Stream of Consciousness
and Root of All Evil. There we go. How can I forget? Stream of Consciousness and Root of All Evil. Okay. Thank you very much, Jay. Jay knows all the guitars, all the tunings, all the string gauges for every song. Unbelievable. Very, very. Even he doesn't believe it. But I believe it, because it's always right. So, and that's it. That's our work. I have a ritual before I go on stage. First of all, I like to warm up. I like to get myself very loose and, get the blood flowing in my hands, but at the same time I like to be very relaxed. If you look over here, I have a little setup. I don't know if you can see down there. I got my slippers, my footrest, my practice rig, a heater, a clock, a funky lamp. I try to keep the lighting sort of mellow and just try to get into a good frame of mind, so I don't feel anxious or nervous when I go on stage. And then, of course, change my clothes, get all ready, and just like I said, try to stay loose and relaxed. It's basically my ritual. My favorite part of the concert is when we're into the concert. After the beginning, when you first come out, it's very exciting because you're coming out, people are seeing you for the first time. There's a lot of energy, but at the same time, you're getting used to the way it sounds and the way it feels, and the way the monitors sound in your ears, and there's a little bit of adrenaline. I like it when it's sort of into the concert a bit, and the band is very settled, and everything's balanced, and the audience is comfortable, people are smiling. I feel like that's the best point to me. As it gets towards the end, once again, it's exciting, but then you're tired, and it's the end. So, like I said, once the band gets into a groove, it's usually a few songs into the concert. French audience is great. They're awesome. We've been coming to France now for so many years, and we've seen it build and build and build and build. And without a doubt, every time we come here, the audience is great. They're true fans. They love the music. They know all the words. They know the songs. They're smiling. They're loud. They sing along. They couldn't be any better, really. Never enough. Yeah, a lot of times when I think about the songs, I think about the technical aspects of the song. It's the first thing that comes into my mind. That song has a very cool section in the middle of the song that's, it's not really a guitar solo, it's sort of like a unison thing with the keyboards. It's very challenging, and it's very technical, and it's something I really like to play. So, that was something that was different for us, to make a section of music that was instrumental and that was challenging but wasn't necessarily improvised.
everybody in Germany. It's Jordan Rudess here. Very nice to have you with us. To have you with me, whichever way. But happy that you're all watching me. Hello. See you later. Bye.
How you doing? I'm Bert Baldwin. I'm doing lights and video and all this kind of good stuff. And this is Catalyst. This is what we use to play back all the spacey graphics and all the video content and stuff during the show. This, of course, is the lighting board. This is the hog, and this triggers everything. So this is what my hands are actually on during the show. And this guy is just kind of a slave to Catalyst. Catalyst tells it what to play. Or, I'm sorry, the hog tells Catalyst what to play. So we'll go here, and you see Root of All Evil, and then you've got the intro video cue right here. So when I hit the go button, we hit the intro video cue, and you see that Catalyst here has started playing the Balls intro, which you guys are probably familiar with by now. And that, when the video rack is set up and everything, we're not totally set up yet, but when all the video rack is set up, then all that stuff gets fed through to the screens. And all that good stuff. And then all the camera cuts and all that are also completely programmed into here, so it's all automated. But there you go. That's the basic quick and dirty.
Greetings everyone from the Mirror. This is James Labrie, and welcome to this personal tour and discussion, and let's have fun with it. So here we go. I'm going to show you guys right now like the setup for tonight. We are in Dusseldorf. This is my table. This is where I put my thermoses and my water, and then I grab these little doodahs, you know, throughout the night when there's any kind of moment during the concert that might entail me accompanying the guys during an instrumental section or whatever. And obviously here's the Munster drum kit that Mike plays on. I don't know, I personally get lost. And then over here, oh my God, we have our keyboard extraordinaire. Jordan has introduced me to a new kind of friend of mine. Basically, Jordan has me now accompanying him on songs such as, you know, like an Octavarium, during the Octavarium, the whole intro part, and then during In the Name of God. And I'm playing, and we have it numbered, basically, so that I can... I'm keeping my hand here because I definitely do not want you to see something here. Okay? So, but anyways, yeah, so Jordan and I have kind of coordinated these efforts to have me accompany him during certain songs. And we gotta go away from here. I can't let you guys see that. Anyways, and then, well, we got, you know, John Mayung. He usually hangs right here. His rig's over there. And, you know, he usually hangs out when he's not doing anything. He'll little couch set up for John every day. He has to have a little seat and rest his tired legs and fingers, so to speak. So it's kind of cool, you know. One day he just showed up. No, guys, I got your couch if you want to sit down. It's like, no, I'm okay. If I sit down, I'll never get up. As you can see, our LD, Bert Baldwin, is working on, you know, they're always constantly focusing. Wave, Bert! Thank you! And this is the hall that we're playing tonight, the Phillips Hall, which is a great place. We've played here several times, and each time that we played here, it's been incredible. Well, obviously, the odd time you might have a cheat sheet for a lyric, and in this case, it's the very first song that was ever written by Dream Theater. So, when the guys were in Berkeley, the three guys, John, and Mike, and basically this is what it morphed into eventually, this song with lyrics and vocals. And right here I have a pedal, and I do the same thing. I have the numbers, so depending on the song, I have to scale up, and each number gives me a different vocal effect. And so it enables me to do songs that are pretty intense as far as effects, like something like Glass Prison, This Dying Soul, The Root of All Evil. All these songs, there's a lot of songs actually, as the more we go on, that have more vocal effects. So, anyways, I got to put it back to where I start tonight, which is 2. And basically that's it. And then this guy blinds me all night, so I can barely see the crowd after it beams in through my eyeballs. When the guys are doing like an instrumental section, or I know that I have at least a minute or 2, I'll come back here. And so this is, like I said, I have one of my thermoses here, I have my kettle here, so I fill it up. It's all hooked up, so I can turn it on, honey, obviously, and there's my set list for the evening. So I'll know, like, you know, if you get caught up in whatever it is, you can always say, oh yeah, we're on that song right now. This is the song that's coming up, so you kind of like get yourself there. And it's just a constant, but you know, it's all these drawers for things, but this kind of keeps all my stuff together, and you know, it's a nice way to have it, and it makes everything quite simple for me. Basically, this is my setup. Gotta have my bananas, because it's very important for singers to have potassium, a lot of potassium. I also take zinc tablets. And, and then, speaking of, there you go, Vocalese, James. There's my warm-up. It's approximately this, doing the Kleb scales and all that stuff. And then after that, I continue with a warm-up for about another 10-15 minutes before I feel that, you know, I'm in the zone that I want to be in. And, you know, and then basically I heat up the water, and I got the whole thermos thing going. So I put hot water, boiling water, in here with a squirt of honey. A dash of honey. My actual routine starts, I get up at the hotel about 2 hours before we have to check out. And so what I do is I get up, and I have this stuff that I take. It's called Immunicol, and it's a protein. It's a very concentrated protein powder, and what it does is it enhances your immune system, which is affected by the glutathione level in your body, which is the cells that help protect you against whatever, like virus or bacteria. So I do that. So I take that and I drink it with orange juice and drink it down. And then I go and I jog, and I do about 3 miles a day. So that helps keep my cardiovascular, and that helps keep me as healthy as I possibly can be. And then after I'm, you know, showered and ready I get to the venue. And the first thing I do when I get to the venue is I put the water on, and I start sipping hot water with a little bit of honey in it. And then I do my Vocalese, and I do Vocalese twice a day. So I do them when I get here, and just to kind of open everything up. And then I'll do like a sound check or whatever with the guys. And then I'll, you know, chill out, have a little bite to eat, and then basically just, you know, hang out, do some reading or do some email. And then I'll, once again, about an hour before the show, I start getting dressed. And then about a half an hour before the show, I start doing my Vocalese once again. So that by the time the show is upon us, then I'm all in the zone that I want to be. And this is one of the various offices. We won't stay in here too long. This production, there's another production office. There's Ray Amico, our production manager extraordinaire.
Okay, so
and then there's Rick Fulner, our tour manager extraordinaire.
Hey James.
Yes.
I got your 5 bottles of red wine.
Oh yeah, and that's the other thing. Rick is really out to destroy me. He would like to see me drink 5 bottles of wine every night, which I don't do. Otherwise, we wouldn't be on tour.
And the limo will pick you up about 8:30.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot, Rick. You might have been better to tell me that later on. Thanks. Well, this is 2 of the wardrobe cases. So, you know, over there. So John Young and myself, we share this wardrobe case. And then, you know, here's some clothes that were obviously drying and whatever. This is obviously Jordan and Mike's wardrobe. And then John Petrucci has his wardrobe down there, and half is for him and half is for miscellaneous items. Very quickly, this is another room, and John Young is obviously warming up for the show tonight, and that happens quite a bit. And as you can see, Jordan's keyboard is here as well. He does the same thing. He does some warming up, and then there's more hospitalities over here for us if we so need. Okay guys, so here's the bus. This is our bus. And the other bus, the blue bus, that's the crew bus. So we're on here. Our tour manager, he travels with us, and just because he's telling us where we're going, what hotel, and when we're getting up, and get the hell out and get in the hotel, get back on the bus, let's go to the venue. So, and then the crew, but they're on a completely different schedule than us. So they, you know, I mean, they have to be at the venue first thing in the morning. Then they're not out of the venue until 3-4 hours after the show is done. So we're on different schedules. We're out of here already going down the road to the next city, and they're still here packing up. You know, it's a real, they have a tough gig, those guys. A real tough gig. But yeah, they are. They're amazing. So here we go. So come on in. This is basically, you know, like the little kitchenette area. So you want coffee, tea, whatever. You want to nuke something. All the amenities are in these drawers and stuff. You got a little fridge in here with all your drinks and stuff. Then you got a sink back there. And you can see the sign here. Don't slam doors, because you never know, right? Like, people are sleeping at various times, so you got to be really considerate of one another. That's our, there's the loo, the toilet. Up here we have a little bit of a lounge. And then you can go up there, and that's where the bus driver is, and that's where he drives from. But we have like TVs here. I think he's got something like 200 DVDs on board here. So we want to watch movies. So we'll go upstairs. This is another lounge that we hang out in, and there's a TV and stereo. Here's our bunk area. This is where we sleep. I'm right here, down here, and then you can come all the way down here, and right at the end here, I'll let you squeeze by, but there's like 2 seats up here if you ever want to be going down the road and you just want to chill out, you want to read, or if you want to just watch the road go by. It's really cool watching it go by from up here. It's a really cool angle. And but yeah, you know. The most I love about Germany, I wish that I could have more time in Germany. I love all the fans that we have here. I mean, it's always been an incredible area for us to come and perform, and the reaction and the reception that we get is always overwhelming.
Ich bin Frauke und ich hoffe, dass heute ein super Abend wird, weil ich habe eigentlich noch keine Ahnung, weil ich noch nicht lange Dream Theater Fan bin, aber ich hoffe, es wird geil. Dream Theater rocks! Dream Theater rocks!
Das ist mein erstes Dream Theater Konzert. Leider bis jetzt hatte ich noch nicht die Gelegenheit hier hinzukommen, aber ich finde Dream Theater persönlich total abgefahren geil.
see the hands. There it is. I swear he's gonna murder that poor kid. you're not to blame. I'm the monster you created in your daddy's name. Under Peruvian skies, and so gratefully waits. The story unfolds in the fuck, Tony?
Well, this tour is especially special, as James once coined the phrase, because it's really, you know, the emphasis is celebrating the 20th anniversary of the band. So, you know, I think, you know, every show is covering basically the whole history of the band from '85 to 2005. And, you know, we play something off of each album, and we've been able to throw in some obscure tracks like Another One, Raise the Knife, and so to me that's been, you know, the highlight of this tour, what's made it especially special. Usually the last thing I do before hitting the stage is take a piss, and I always have it's a Mountain Dew Amp. It's like an energy drink. I drink one of those right before going on, and the four of us give each other high fives. I say the four of us because John Mayung is always on the stage. Basically, after sound check, John Mayung will go eat dinner and then just go into his own little world on stage right, and he just stays there until showtime. So we just see him on the stage, but the rest of the four of us are all backstage giving each other high fives and have a good show kind of thing. My favorite part of this tour is the intro to Octavarium, because I get a good 5 minutes to actually catch my breath and have a little water and just towel off. And you know, after doing Gigantour this summer, where it was like 90 minutes straight of just no breaks, and even the first set on this tour is usually pretty hard hitting, by the time we get around to Octavarium in the second set, I am desperately looking forward to that break where Jordan does the intro. So that's honestly my favorite part of the show. We were just saying in the dressing room last night, it's just amazing how far this market has come from us. I remember, like, I was saying last night in the dressing room, like during intermission, it's like, you know, we've come a long way since the Marquee. And I remember England was always a really tough market for us to crack for many, many years, because we have no label support here. We've done it on our own, and now here we are with 2 sold-out shows at the Hammersmith Apollo, and it's great, you know. The English market has really, really become a favorite of ours. The thing, and everybody in the band would unanimously give this answer, the thing that we look most forward to when we come to England is Indian food, actually. It's the best Indian food in the world. And you know, when we got here 2 nights ago, that was the first thing we did. We had a band dinner. It's the only time that the 5 of us ever go out with just the 5 of us and never have a band dinner, is when we come here and we need a curry. Well, welcome to the wonderful world of Dream Theater, and it's great having a UK fan club finally after all these years. I mean, God, you guys are doing a great job. It's great to have a fan club here, an English-speaking one, no less, and it's great to have you guys on board and part of the family.
Proud enough for you
In the previous one, we've done pretty bad.
We've been using it actually in our show, but because of it, attach it off the
This is old school, man. Damn, look at it. Pumpkin fishing.
You wouldn't believe the stuff I've got lost. Did you find there were any quite good for those as well?
I don't know. I think
Inner Sanctum.
this is scary.
I know it's scary.
This is
Wait,
for
Jordan does it.
Here in London, just finished the big show. Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
We need to move along.
Amazing.
Next time.
I had chosen to do Dark Side of the Moon years ago. You know, around the same time when I picked Master of Puppets and Number of the Beast, this was another one that was on my top 5 list. I mean, it was inevitable that we would do a Floyd album, and we've been doing Floyd covers for years. We've done Comfortably Numb and Hey You and Echoes and One of These Days. You know, it was inevitable that we would tackle a Floyd album. And to be honest, my favorite Floyd album is The Wall. In fact, The Wall is probably my favorite album of all time. So when thinking of which one to cover, I thought about The Wall for a little while, and I actually listened down to it for the first time in years, and it's just an exhausting experience. As much as I love it, and I think it's maybe the most intense album ever made, it's just an exhausting experience, and it would have been a major undertaking, not only for us, but for the audience to endure. So it became obvious that Dark Side of the Moon would have been the right choice, and you know, I'm glad that we're doing it here in London, of all places too. You know, it's really this is where they're from, and it's really fitting to be doing it here tonight. Most DT fans know Teresa. You know, she sang on Scenes from Memory, and then also performed with us live at the Scenes from New York show. So she's got a nice history with us, and when the idea of doing Dark Side came up, it was like obvious, you know, Teresa's got to do it, because those female vocals are so important to this album, and she's made for this album. I mean, she's just perfect. As far as the sax player goes, we had a different sax player in Amsterdam that we're going to have tonight here in London. In Amsterdam, we used a guy named Mike Kidson, who plays with the Australian Pink Floyd show. And tonight in London, we're using Norbert Stachel, who plays with Roger Waters, and he's currently doing some touring with another Pink Floyd cover band called The Machine. So, you know, obviously both of these guys have played these songs a million times, and, you know, we're obviously perfect for the gig. Spirit Carries On, I think, is one of Dream Theater's anthems. It's one of those songs that never fails to get the audience on their feet every night, every time we play it. And tonight will be the third time we've ever done it with Teresa. Obviously, the first time was in New York for the DVD, and then we did it in Amsterdam, and tonight in London will be the third time she's ever performed with us. And it just lifts the song to a whole nother level. I mean, the song is already so spiritual. But you add Teresa into the mix and it elevates the song to, you know, it's godly. You know, it's like a religious experience. And I'm looking forward to doing it tonight here in London.
Life is too short, the here and the now, and you're only given one shot. But could there be more? Have I lived before, or could this be all that we've got? If I died tomorrow, I'd be alright, because I believe that after we're gone, the spirit carries on. Was the end, but that was before. I'm not scared anymore. I know that my soul will transcend. May never find all the answers, I may never understand why, may never prove what I know to be true. But I know that I still have to try. Sing it, London! If I die tomorrow, I'd be alright, because I believe that after we're gone, spirit carries on.
folks know who I am. But if not, my name is John Petrucci. No, I mean Jordan Rudess from Dream Theater, and this is my world, my keyboard world. Tonight we're in beautiful Rome and ready to play a very big gig, and we have the opportunity to actually take a look at some of my gear. This is my Korg Oasis keyboard, and it's responsible for most everything that you hear. It's where I do the majority of the show from, and it's a very, very powerful instrument. A lot of people ask why I kind of made a switch from the Kurzweil technology that I was using to the Korg, and well, this is really the most amazing piece of equipment that I could even think about using to get the job done. It features a really, really large screen, which is a touch screen, so I can touch the screen and go in to see all the patches. And the way that I do it, I don't know if you can see the screen on the camera, but the screen actually shows me incrementally all the different sounds that I'll use. So like if I'm playing a song like Root of All Evil, for instance, I'll start with this heavy patch, switch the sounds around quickly. So my whole night is basically spent playing the sounds and just switching between the sounds. So I might have anywhere from 5 to like 30 sounds in a piece. Some sounds are much more intensive, but they're all done just by doing quick switches. And I'm also quite often moving the sliders around, and one of the great things about my Korg equipment is that the sliders will light up, because I always had a problem with my previous equipment where I couldn't see anything in the dark. So you'll notice that we have lots of lights, lots of colors, so when it's dark out I can just reach over and say, oh, I want to move this slider a little bit, and go right there and grab it. So and of course the screen, being as large as it is really wonderful. Above that I have the freehand music pad that I use. It's pretty much the ultimate cheat sheet, if you will. Like in my particular role as a keyboardist, I do a lot of crazy things with the kind of mapping. Like I was just working on The Answer Lies Within, trying to figure out how to bring in the cellos. And I was playing the piano, and there's this lovely cello entrance, but I wanted to kind of figure out where to put it, so I ended up placing it over here. Watch. So sometimes low sounds will be up high, sometimes high sounds will be down low. Many times I'll trigger, various effects and stuff like that. What else? The music pad will actually show me what's going on. So like I get to that spot and Answer Lies Within, and I'll put parentheses around. I'll make a little note that the right hand plays G6 to tell me which key of my 88 notes I'm going to actually play. And for different songs, I might have different things. Some things I might just have a chord chart. Some things I might actually have the written notation. But whatever the song really is, I can go here and I can open it up. This is a lovely scan of some Change of Seasons stuff that I had. And over here on this side, I've got some new technology that I've been using. This is a wonderful instrument right here. It's called the Continuum. It's the most asked question on this tour. So what is that instrument you're playing with the red surface? Well, it's called a Continuum. It's made by a fellow named Lippold Haken, and it's really an amazing instrument. It has a neoprene strip on it, and when you touch it, it triggers a note. And the notes are like consecutive, so I can play like a C scale, or a chromatic scale, I should say. Or you can slide it. But the great thing is it's kind of like a violin, because you can also do like vibrato on it. But the cool thing is that I was working with Lippold on the design of this, and you can either play a particular note on it, like let's say C to G, and even though you can really play anywhere on this strip and really get like a weird quarter tone or atonal type thing, when you first press on it, it's in a mode that it will actually play, no matter where I land. If I'm close to C, it will play a C. So, and once I slide, it smoothly slides. will kind of automatically tune to the note that I'm closest to, that I want to land on in the amount of time. It's a programming thing that I'm into, to make it move to the pitch in the amount of time. The other thing that this does is it responds to pressure. So I can play a note very gently, like get it very soft, and then as I press, it comes with more volume. Then I can go front to back to bring in wild feedback effects. Front to back. So it's left to right, front to back, and pressure. And that's what makes this instrument really cool. And since we have limited time, let me introduce you to this instrument, which is the lap steel. And you know, you've seen it. Many people play it, but in rock, the person who actually influenced me is Steve Howe of Yes. I got together with him and he showed me a couple things, and now it's not plugged in electrically, but I've been really into playing this, and this is an instrument built for me by Industrial Guitar. It's a company that's in the States, and they made this instrument kind of custom for me. Europe, you know, we have these very interesting tour buses because they're double-decker. So what happens is that it's a good thing in a way, and in some ways it's not such a good thing. One not such good thing is that when you stand up, you have to be careful of your head, because we often knock our heads. It's one of the, we kind of count how many times you know, we knock our heads. So, but once we get that, you know, you kind of walk around like this a little bit. Once you do that, I mean, people come into the tour bus and they establish, okay, you know, we're going to watch a movie, everybody gets invited, you want to come up, and like this is the main lounge that you're looking at right now. You know, you usually find all of us just hanging around after the show, kind of like this, you know, and it's time to visit the bunk area. Would you like to see? This is the fabulous Dream Theater bunk area. Everybody has their little spot. And my spot is right here. Lovely as could be. See my name right there? This is where Jordan sleeps. He crawls in. He goes like this. Shuts the curtains. Goodbye. And that's about it. And then he's gone. And in the morning at 9:30 a.m., Rick wakes me up. Says, rise and shine. I crawl out, very, very delirious. I look around. John Mayung usually comes out first. He was up here. I'm not even sure who was here. It's no Mark. But everybody just kind of relaxes here. Well, you know, we've come now, we're at the very, very end of the tour. It's been a long run. And what's interesting about this run, just as far as maybe even a little bit of a challenge in the way that it's put together, is that, you know, for Dream Theater, Italy is a very, very important place to play, because it's one of our biggest markets, and the fans are very supportive, and they love us, and they come out, and there's always a lot of people. The challenge of that was that, you know, here we are at the end of the tour, everybody's a little tired, so it's kind of like saying, okay, now is a big, you know, amount of excitement, we know you're tired, but wake up, because we have a lot of, you know, intensity for you here. So you know, of course, we're coming into this and we're excited to be here, and it's incredible, and you can't deny when the whole place is like packed with people screaming. We'll see how much ritual I can get done tonight, depending on what time we're done doing the video. But you know, what I do is I usually just try to get into a nice, calm space in my mind. I'll sit down. There's a keyboard behind the stage, you know, in a dressing room in the stage. Which I'll just go. A lot of times it's really funny and we laugh, because what I'll do is I'll go to the keyboard and I'll play, but I won't play anything like what people might imagine that Jordan Rudess would be playing backstage before a Dream Theater show. What I'll be playing is maybe some like improvisation, something that sounds like Debussy, or something that just sounds like really bizarre or atonal, or I'll play Chopin, or I'll do some weird ragtime, or I'll make up songs with silly words about what we're experiencing, and it always, you know, pretty much always gets a laugh from the other guys if I'm starting to like play some weird honky-tonk thing and like singing about the day or whatever. So it's, for me, at the piano, it's not only a way to warm up my fingers, it's also a way to kind of loosen up a little bit and just kind of have some relaxing time before going on, because the rush, especially like a night like tonight, we're in Rome, it's going to be, you can't avoid having, you know, whatever number of people, 10,000 people come on and go wham, and your energy gets, you know, shot up. So you have to kind of be in a good space. So for me, it's a combination of those things: playing the keyboard, practicing a little bit, maybe doing some stretching exercises, maybe a little bit of some yoga motions, some balancing. You know, the more I can kind of become calm before the whole thing hits, the better. And that's what I try to do before the shows.
Let's see everyone's head.
Okay, well this is so exciting that we could actually put this whole video together. I hope that everybody's enjoying it, because it's really fun for us to reach out and have fans all around the world that are you know, really supportive and that want to help not only create this, but that will get it and enjoy it and come and check out our shows and our music and listen to our albums. And I'm very appreciative, and I hope you're all having a great time, and crank up the music, and we'll see you at the next show. Bye.
All right, everyone, that is our show. Thank you for making the last show in Europe a very memorable one. Happy Halloween! Yeah! See you next time through, all right? Take care of yourselves. Thanks again, everyone.
Singing in the rain, what a glorious feeling. I'm happy again. I'm laughing at times so dark up above. The sun's in my heart and I'm ready for life. Let the stormy clouds chase everyone from the place. Come on with the rain, I will smile on my face. I walk down the lane with a happy refrain, just singing, singing in the rain. dancing in the rain. I'm happy again. I'm singing and dancing in the rain.
Grazie Roma! Ciao baby!